Harley Quinn. I'm impetuous. I kiss people. Mwah!
Whoa, hoochie mama.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 most adult superhero cartoons.
Oh, hey guys.
Yeah, we don't know who that is.
It was a secret mission.
Well, you suck at it then.
Mistakes were made.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most mature animated movies and TV shows in the genre. We won't be counting shows like Batman the Animated Series that had adult themes but weren't strictly made for older audiences. Also, beware of spoilers ahead. Did we miss any of your gritty favorites? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20. Batman Gotham by Gaslight. Although the Caped Crusader has dealt with gruesome criminals before, he's never done it quite like this. For one, this is a Victorian-era Gotham. There is also the fact that Batman isn't chasing any of his infamous rogues. This time, he's after Jack the Ripper himself.
You're a fool. I'll never have a better chance of stopping that butcher, and you squandered it playing the knight in shining armor. I can take care of myself.
The memorable setup turns this gritty thriller into more of a twisted whodunit. And as with any murder mystery, the path to the culprit is littered with some very gruesome character deaths. Gotham by Gaslight is a coarse and violent affair that dives into the dark realities of grim detective work. While a good chunk of its cast ends up in body bags, it's still a bloody good time.
Gone. All gone.
And the hope of Gotham with it.
It was all phony anyway. We'll make something new.
Number 19. Marvel's M.O.D.O.K. A show centered on a supervillain in suburbia practically writes itself. When that villain is also an incompetent, oversized head, you get Marvel's M.O.D.O.K.
Melly, we've talked about this. You can't catfish people without using a VPN to disguise your IP address.
This family comedy sticks out because its mature jokes and most brutal scenes are brought to life with stop-motion animation. Oh, and did we mention that M.O.D.O.K. just happens to feature a few superheroes? The show revels in making fun of Marvel icons with great cameos and sharp humor.
Are you binge-watching the Great British Bake Off in your helmet while we fight?
No, I'm savoring the Great British Bake Off, making it last. No more than 2 episodes a day. 3 tops.
They're put into a number of situations that might even be too violent for the MCU. Despite getting canceled way too soon, the short-lived M.O.D.O.K. is a good way to see Marvel heroes in an adult light. Number 18. The Awesomes. These B-list heroes aren't famous for their powers or reputations. Truthfully, they'll always be remembered for pushing the envelope. Not just with sex, substances, and rock and roll, though there's still plenty of that. The Awesomes goes the extra mile by proving that social commentary is best delivered through gut-busting humor.
Huddle up, origin stories, y'all. Full on, flashback, how you got your superpowers, origin stories, like real superheroes.
While some might call it rude, that's part of the charm. If anything, the mishmash of tones is the reason the explicit humor lands so well. The show definitely pushes the boundaries of good taste. But once you get to know the characters, you might just be convinced that they're all awesome.
Guys, are we superheroes or are we mental patients?
I resent that you don't think we can be both.
Number 17. The Death of Superman.
Superman, I knew you'd come.
In recent years, the DC Universe animated original movie series has adapted iconic moments in comic book history. The Death of Superman stands out as one of its most faithful and brutal. After an out-of-control doomsday lands on Earth, he carves a path of destruction and death through the world. Both civilians and heroes receive harsh and fatal injuries. At one point, Cyborg is nearly completely ripped apart.
Not looking too good, Cyborg.
We can take this creep. Come on, let's...
The film also beautifully fleshes out Superman's life before he races into his rough battle with Doomsday. Epic in scale, emotionally driven, and tackling mature themes, The Death of Superman is everything a longtime fan needs.
I have to get back to work.
Number 16. Injustice. Near the beginning of the movie, a grief-stricken Superman kills the Joker, and the events only get darker from there.
I won't be held back by ideals that don't protect the innocent.
It's not just the sheer brutality of the characters that makes Injustice hard to stomach. What makes this movie so hard to endure is that Clark's actions cause a civil war between once friendly heroes. Their ideological arguments eventually turn into shouting matches, fistfights, and even deaths. None of them are merciful either. No, they're the let me know when I can look again type of death scenes.
Because they angered you?
No, I killed them because a lesson had to be learned.
The Injustice movie amps up the ruthlessness of its source material to give us a shocking superhero civil war. Number 15, Hit Monkey. In this case, the title pretty much tells you all you need to know. It follows a monkey who's also a hitman. Oh, and he's mentored by the ghost of a dead assassin.
Told you this was gonna get weird.
Bloodshed, mania, and crassness ensue. Hit Monkey is definitely a lot to take in. And yet, there's just something undeniably thrilling about it too. Maybe it's a thoroughly unique premise. Or perhaps we like the way Hit Monkey gets his paws bloody in just about every episode.
Okay, so what's your plan? You just gonna kill everyone you meet? Oh. Okay. Yeah, no, suit yourself.
Either way, this is totally a show worth going bananas over. Just brace yourself for the messy side of Hit Monkey's day job. Number 14, Batman Year One.
You've eaten well. You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit, but your feast is nearly over. From this moment on, none of you are safe.
Based on the critically acclaimed run of Batman 404 to 407, this film explores Batman's early crime-fighting career and the foundation of his unique relationship with James Gordon. As with most of Frank Miller's comic book work, Year One was notably dark and mature in its themes. The film definitely respects the source material in this regard. In addition to showing the more mature side of Gotham, the realistic injuries will make you wince. There's also coarse language, adult professions, and scenes that are definitely not appropriate for kids. Batman's first year out is undoubtedly a grown-up affair.
But I know pain. I know pain. Sometimes I share it with someone like you.
Number 13, Hellboy, Blood and Iron.
Stay where you are. We'll check it out. About time. Something's in the torture chamber.
Released between Hellboy and Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, Blood and Iron featured voice work by the live-action film cast. Ron Perlman, Selma Blair, Doug Jones, and John Hurt all returned for this grim story. In this follow-up, the storytelling is tighter, the tone darker, the threats all the more frightening. It doesn't shy away from the horrifying world established throughout the Hellboy mythos. There are legitimately scary scenes that would frighten people of any age. At the same time, the movie never loses sight of its complex plot or intriguing character relationships. This mature animated film definitely lives up to its source material.
We are greater beings than they could ever dream.
Yeah? Well, I'm doing just fine.
Number 12, Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay.
What about you, gunman? You think the card could wipe away all the blood you've spilled? Well, don't you believe in heaven?
I believe in heaven, Boomer.
Hell to Pay doesn't spend a lot of time convincing you that the villains sent on a deadly mission are secretly good or have redeeming qualities. That's mainly because its characters are far too busy assassinating rivals, avoiding death, and using their skills in fatal ways. Every person in this motley crew of villains is capable of excessive violence. And true to the title, a good number of the squad members are killed off before the credits roll. Since this movie is every bit as dark as it is funny, it's a joy to watch. It's a great companion piece to other adult Suicide Squad tales like Batman: Assault on Arkham.
Oh crap! Not this again.
You two? It's like a bloody recurring nightmare.
Number 11, Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox. In this alternate timeline, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are at war, Bruce Wayne isn't Batman, and Superman is a hollow shell of his former self. And yet, even against all of that, the most harrowing part of the Flashpoint Paradox is Barry Allen's story.
It's me you want, Thawne. You don't have to kill thousands of innocents to bring me down.
His desire to save his mom's life created a reality where people are trapped in a hell on Earth. Thankfully, the grim tone never distracts from the film's empowering message of acceptance. It doesn't let Barry outrun his grief. Instead, the Flashpoint Paradox tackles it with respect and sophistication. The movie's strong morals turned an already great and mature film into an absolute must-watch.
Barry! Stop! You'll kill everyone!
Number 10. Justice League Dark, Apokolips War. Did you ever wonder what would happen if the Justice League couldn't stop a major villain? Well, Apokolips War has got you covered.
We need to blow up Apokolips.
Oh, is that all? Piece of cake.
This movie boasts one of the highest body counts of any DC movie to date. Most of the Justice League is either killed, captured, or twisted beyond recognition. The Green Lantern Corps? Doused in magma. Oh, but surely the Teen Titans make it, right? Nope, not even they are spared from the war. Yeah, Grimm doesn't even begin to cover it. Apokolips War is the bleakest of the bleak, and easily one of the most grueling films in DC's catalog. After all, it's saying something when the so-called happy ending consists of resetting the entire timeline.
It won't be perfect. It'll be a long sight better than what we got now.
Number 9. Stripperella.
My baby, Stripperella! Please save my baby! Jesus, my baby!
Lady, Jesus, my ears. You're screaming right in my ears.
The late great Stan Lee made innumerable contributions to the world of comic books. This creation, however, was his gift to his adult fans. Rated TV MA, Stripperella was an overtly adult series following a superhero/stripper by name of Erotica Jones. She was voiced by none other than Pamela Anderson. The series only lasted one season and turned away many potential viewers based on its very racy premise alone. However, it was more than a gimmick. Stripperella offered genuine laughs, clever moments, and yes, plenty of adult appeal. It truly is an animated superhero offering that you'll have to get an eyeful of to believe.
Evildoers, prepare to become evil don't-ers. Do you mind?
Number 8. Batman Under the Red Hood. Within the first few minutes of this movie, Robin is physically tormented by the Joker, a building explodes, and Batman holds the body of his deceased sidekick. This opening sequence sets the tone for one of the darkest Caped Crusader stories ever. Batman's failure to save his last Robin comes back to haunt him when the Red Hood goes on a violent tear through Gotham. Blood is shed, villains are savagely beaten, and heads literally roll.
Those are the heads of all your lieutenants. That took me 2 hours. You want to see what I can get done in a whole evening?
The film expertly uses its violent scenes to make a commentary on the audience's tolerance for brutality. Through the tragedy of Robin and the Red Hood, we're forced to question if Gotham can only be saved if villains die.
I'm not talking about killing Penguin or Scarecrow or Dent. I'm talking about him. Just him. And doing it because he took me away from you.
Number 7. The MAXX.
Sometimes it's me.
Yes, and sometimes it's us. All right, everybody, freeze.
Damn, I was talking out loud again.
Before the MAXX came along, people had never really seen a superhero cartoon like it. Come to think of it, even 2 decades after it's released, most people still haven't seen anything like it. This one-of-a-kind series remains a gruesome and underappreciated cult classic of the MTV generation. The MAXX follows a homeless man who is also a mighty warrior in the surreal landscape known as the Outback. The animation is ever-changing, the tone absurdly dark, and the subject matter is heavy. One villain commits such despicable acts that we can't even say them here. While the series may be too dark and heavy for some, it's undeniably brilliant.
And it wasn't all a dream. Unless I'm dreaming now. Too bad.
Number 6. Constantine, City of Demons. Given the name, it shouldn't come as a shock that this is less of a superhero flick and more of a full-blown horror film.
Your own inner demons given physical form.
Oh, that's not good.
While Constantine has always concerned himself with the occult, his stories haven't always given us this much gory insight into his life. This movie is really not for kids, or honestly, anyone with weak stomachs either. From the demon executions to a particularly steamy scene in a bar bathroom, the movie doesn't hold back. Longtime Constantine fans will gravitate to the story because he and his dark world aren't watered down a bit. The devilishly entertaining and grim narrative truly reflects the dark nature of his stories.
Best of luck, Chaz. You're gonna need it.
Number 5. The Boys presents Diabolical. Thanks to the power of animation, this bloody spin-off actually manages to be more violent and gruesome than the live-action series. Each episode of Diabolical has more expletives, more gore, and more insane twists than the last. An early career Homelander-centered story especially pushes the limits of gore.
You know, friend, it's hard to hold a gun when it's 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, you idiot, Alexa!
Since it's an anthology series, Diabolical has license to blow up its premise after each episode. Sometimes, literally. Once the credits roll, it all resets for yet another round of unhinged bloodshed. But it isn't all just blood and guts. The show is full of tons of topical commentary about society and the superhero genre. As a result, Diabolical is the red-soaked gift that keeps on giving.
Believe it or not, even with everyone dead, your ratings went up.
Good. That's good.
Number 4. The Dark Knight Returns, Parts 1 and 2.
If it's war they want, I've got just the thing.
Released in 2 parts, the first in 2012 and the second the following year, The Dark Knight Returns is an adaptation of one of the most famous Batman stories ever published. A miniseries written by Frank Miller in 1986, The Dark Knight Returns explores an alternate future in which an aging Batman comes out of retirement and ultimately faces off against Superman. This story is about flawed heroes existing in a world made up entirely of moral gray areas. The violence on display is extreme, the language is strong, and vices are around every corner. It's one of the best animated Batman films ever made, but wait until the young Bat fans are older teens to share it with them.
You have to remember, this man isn't responsible for those killings. He's merely a victim of the Batman's psychotic obsession.
Number 3. Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn took her signature bat and smashed everyone's expectations into smithereens with this series.
You're Harley Quinn!
That's right. So either forgive my dad's debt or I kill all of you.
That ain't how a business works.
Yeah, it's based on law.
Following Harley Quinn's life after she steps out of the Joker's shadow, this show is one of the most vulgar animated programs out there. Civilians die by the truckloads throughout this series. Since characters have no filters, expect lots of strong language and adult jokes. Fans will also get an eyeful because the show does not shy away from adult activities. Amidst all of the chaos, the show also manages to be surprisingly heartwarming. It's all pulled together by the fantastic Kaylee Cuoco, who spouts off Harley's lines with incomparable comedic timing. This funny, crude, and honest show never once apologizes for what it is. Number 2. Invincible.
The thing is, you're different. You actually are invincible.
A teenager learning to balance heroics and everyday life sounds like fun for the whole family, right? Wrong. By the end of the very first episode, Invincible lays its cards on the table, and it's 100% not PG. As it turns out, Mark's growth into the titular hero is also peppered with bursts of gratuitous, red-stained combat. The series isn't shy about showing it off either. Still, it's not quite right to call Invincible gritty. It's more akin to a fantastically realized coming-of-age tale, just one that has more than its fair share of bloody death matches. Invincible isn't always an easy watch, but trust us, it's definitely worth it.
No hard feelings, right? I'm gonna take a rock if that's okay. Yeah?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Todd McFarlane's Spawn.
Stay back!
You don't want to do that.
From the same mind that gave us the iconic Spider-Man villain Venom, the Image Comics character Spawn isn't fit for young fans of any age, be it in comics, films, or this animated series. Airing on HBO, Todd McFarlane's Spawn debuted in 1997 and ran for 3 short seasons. Today, it's remembered as one of the greatest superhero shows ever produced, and in 1999, it even won an Emmy. The series follows a man betrayed and killed by a friend, only to return to Earth as an agent of hell. His gruesome adventures were explicitly adult only, and featured everything from sex to severed limbs. The series was often grotesque, but also excellent.
As far as I know, I'm already dead, which means I'm waiting for your sorry ass in the afterlife.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.